So how about our greeters? Do we have any visiting Rotarians here?
We do have visiting Rotarians. We have John Moore visiting us today.
Welcome, John. John Moore is our assistant governor, so he's a little bit more than just a visiting Rotarian. So we're glad to have him. He's bashful. He didn't want to say a whole lot, but we're glad to have you here, John. Any other visiting Rotarians?
Well, and I guess officially Julia Robies was interact, so.
Rotary. Yeah. All right. Yay. Any others here in the room? Oh, that's booming now. I like it. How about on Zoom? Any visiting Rotarians up there? I don't see Ken Franson. He's usually a regular. We do see Jim and Peggy Walker. Glad you guys are here, so welcome. Somebody's got the radio going on there. All right, well, let's, again, any guests at the table? Anybody have any guests? Right there, Dustin.
Republicans vote no. All right, go ahead, a warning from a Portland woman.
Back at Raina's table.
Our burglary led her.
Hopefully won't be guests with much longer.
Betty's table, anybody any guests there? Marie said, we know your guys are regulars, good, welcome. Robbie's table, any guests here? No, we got our table, got that table. How about on Zoom? Any guests up there?
I have a guest. This is Marcia. You can't see me because I have horrible technical issues, but I'm in Oregon City watching with my dad, Bob Buckley. It's his first Rotary meeting.
All right. Let's see here. So we know we have a couple announcements. So I think Julie's got one announcement. I want to make sure and highlight that. So Julie, and let me share, we're going to get another microphone. So if you're in the back of the room, come up to this front one here, the camera, it has a microphone on it. Then the folks on Zoom can make sure and hear us. But that's coming. So if you want to speak, if you want to be heard by others, come up here closer if you can.
So I'm supposed to go up there now?
Please do. Yeah, just to right that spot there is fine.
Okay. So Sunday, to give you a little bit of background, in Richard's past president group, we kind of challenged all the past presidents that attended that meeting to come up with an idea so that we can start getting back together and have more fellowship, because with COVID, it's been Zoom and you couldn't do any big groups. So I did the first one, which I came up with I like to hike. So I came up with the hiking idea, and Joanne Barton agreed to lead us through the nature preserve that she and her husband have purchased of Yacona. And so it's Sunday at 11. And once we're done, then we're going to go over to the Wolf Creek Brewery. So if anyone would like to join, John, I was looking at you and saying, let me know, because I'm trying to get a head count on who all's going. So anybody on Zoom, will you be attending that on Sunday? How do I tell, John?
I know she sent out an email to about 100 people, so we haven't gotten a whole lot of response back, but she'd like to get a response. If you plan on RSVPing, please let Julie know.
So I got 9 people so far.
Excellent.
And anybody in the room that hasn't told me they're going? No? Okay.
Julie, question for you. Is that happening, rain or shine?
Yep.
Okay.
We live in Oregon, right? So, and on your tables are instructions on how to get there and all of that. So, okay, thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, with Laurel Polio Day, there's a lot of emphasis on that, and I had a meeting last night, president's meeting last night with our district governor, and they talked a little bit about that. There's a couple of videos that are out there, so if you're not able to attend, just during the day, sometime take a few minutes and just think about how successful, how far, how close we are. And I think that they quoted last night, there's only 2 wild polio cases. So it's just remarkable. And they have to go 3 years per country to have it considered no longer in that state or country. So we're very close and very exciting. I know the Taliban just said that they're going to try and let folks back in, so that's new news as well. So interesting enough, but certainly take a moment on Sunday if you can't come out and join us. Again, it's Wolf Tree. Afterwards, have a little refreshment or snack or whatnot. So. And then again, John, he didn't want to be highlighted, but Assistant Governor, he's been trying to come to our meetings via Zoom, but he had bad email address. So we've got that corrected now. So thanks, John. Okay. That's about it on, or any other announcements? Anything else going on?
Richard?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Ken Riley via Zoom.
Go ahead, Ken.
I missed Rotary last week, and I'm hoping that Keith maybe said something, but we have begun organizing for the Seize the Day for 2022. And Sonia's done a great job going as the chairperson leading up to now, but she stepped down. So Keith and I have taken the co-chairs. And so you will be hearing more information as we move forward. But we are looking for new committee members, and it's our single biggest fundraiser for Rotary, so it's a big deal, and Sonia's done just a fantastic job, and she's graciously decided to stay with the committee, just didn't want to chair it. So thank you, Sonia, for that and all of your hard work, because it's a lot, as we are finding out. But if you're interested, contact Keith or I, because we'd hate to have to tell you you're on the committee, but we could resort to that if it gets to it. So that's what I have, but thanks, Richard.
You bet, Ken. Thank you. Keith.
And we have a meeting the next Thursday, or the first Thursday in November, before the Rotary meeting, 11:30 here.
Wonderful. Any other announcements from the group or on Zoom? Doretta, are you able to hear when Julie spoke? Was that a little bit better for folks on Zoom?
Much better, thank you.
Wonderful. We do have a microphone ordered, so we know we've had a little gap there for some of the people in the back is speaking. If they don't really enunciate or really turn up the volume, but we're going to have that rectified here and then continue. We see hybrid continuing to be a thing for a long time, probably. Okay, next I'd like to say is we're going to skip Bob's portion, the Sergeant at Arms, and I asked him permission. He said that's all right, but he said he's taking notes. So celebrate your birthdays, root for your teams, all those things, but he doesn't forget. So definitely be aware, we're coming back with a vengeance. Then next I would like to introduce Raina and have our student of the month. So let's welcome Raina to the lectern here.
Thank you. So I am pleased to introduce our October Student of the Month, Sam Laurel of Newport, Oregon. He has been involved, if I can drop this, in a lot of things at Newport High, including National Honor Society, swimming, cross-country, track. He's currently the Newport High School cross-country captain and is speaking today because he will be attending districts next week. And he is also our part of our Link Crew mentoring program and has been an avid tutor for us. So please welcome Sam.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to start out by thanking Mrs. Madsen for the amazing opportunity to represent Newport High School as the Rotary Student of the Month. Newport High School has provided me with many opportunities to challenge myself academically through programs such as the International Baccalaureate program, as well as provided me many opportunities to make long-lasting friendships and memories. I know that Rotary is an organization that values international relations and giving back to the community, so I thought that I would share a piece of one of my writing that ties in both of these values. I believe that this piece of work is representative of what I'd like to do in the future. As I travel across the historic Icona Bay Bridge on my way to work, I am still struck by the views of a wild Pacific Ocean merging with the calm of the Icona River. Built in the 1930s during a time of economic hardship and social struggle, This monumental piece of Art Deco architecture connects the two halves of my town and is an enduring reminder of what equal opportunity, hard work, and unity can bring to an American community. I work at Nana's Irish Pub, a business that thrives because it harnesses the energy of different cultures. When I walk through the door, I am bombarded by Irish pub music, which gradually fades into Latin rhythms as I approach the kitchen. The language also transitions from formal and overly polite English to a Mexican slang. As I listen and now contribute to the conversation, I tie on my service apron near where the Latino staff are cooking Irish food and washing dishes. To an outsider, I imagine my workplace and a local favorite restaurant could be labeled either as discriminatory or highly permissive. However, this is not the intent. Many immigrants from Mexico and Guatemala come to my hometown of Newport in search of work and a better life despite knowing little English. Kitchens and many local restaurants offer fair wages and a Spanish-speaking environment where long hours are available. On the other hand, I wonder how many customers even consider pay equity and equal opportunity when they see only one side of the food service industry. At the start of my job, I found myself grouped into the front of house staff as a busser. After a few months of committing my time to moving dishes and wiping tables, I was promoted to Expo, a more exciting job that involved making sure the food orders were correct and on time. When they were not, it was my job to communicate these mistakes with the kitchen. My constant interaction with the kitchen staff allowed me to make valuable friendships. I was brought into Mexican culture and was able to share some of the best Mexican food, the best laughs after a tough year of enduring social isolation from the COVID pandemic. Aside from these fun times, being able to increase my understanding of the Spanish language gave me more insight and brought more value to our conversations. I gained real understanding of issues with our society that led me to question the disadvantages of so many of my friends and colleagues. My experiences of 40-hour work weeks, 10-hour days, long shifts, and dealing with unsettled tourists led to sore legs, mental and physical fatigue. What I thought was hard work compared little with the degree of the work carried out by my friends in the kitchen. Their stories of 17-hour days and 90-hour work weeks and their own children living in a different country all made me realize how lucky I was. From a young age, I have heard stories and seen the struggle in the local Latino community. From my childhood best friend's father and soccer coach that worked 3 jobs to provide, to a high school friend being evicted during the pandemic, I've seen the inequality, but I also see glimmers of hope and opportunity. For me, these stories of struggle have sparked personal goals and aspirations. With my opportunity to pursue education after high school, I choose to use it to give back to a group of people who have brought me great memories and given so much to me throughout my 16 years of living in Newport. I hope that my aspirations to become an immigration lawyer will help bridge the gap in opportunity that currently exists for many Latino Americans in our community. On a final note, I would like to thank a few more people because in truth, I would not be here without them. First, I want to thank my cross-country coaches, Coach Tom Swinford and Coach Dave Larson, for helping push myself as a runner. Running has helped me realize how far I can push myself, persevere through struggle, and always have a good mindset. Without them, I would not be able to have the opportunity to continue my running career in college, so thank you again. In relation to running, I would also like to thank my closest friend and last month's Rotary Student of the Month, James Lackey, for always training with me through the rain and the shine. Without James, I do not think I would be the runner I am today because I would not have had a friend to make me come out and run in the middle of winter storms. He's pushed me and encouraged me to always put my best effort in and do the little things I need to do in order to be successful. Lastly, and definitely not least, I would like to thank my mom and my dad for supporting me for the last 18 years of my life. I am beyond thankful to have 2 parents who encourage me to pursue my goals and are always there for me no matter what. Because I know many of my friends throughout the years have not had the same privilege of having 2 supporting parents that are always there for them. I believe that I am more fortunate than a lot of people, and my future goal is to use that fortune to give back to people and communities that were never as fortunate as I was. Thank you.
Sam, come on back. We want to give you a little plaque and then formally recognize you and then snap a picture. How's that? It's a little bit better? Sound good? Not booming you out? So in recognition of speaking today, which was wonderful, what a great story. So we need more attorneys, we need more people. So good job on that. My daughter's doing the same thing. So excellent there. Recognition in that we basically will vaccinate 50 children against polio in their name. So just a small token, and then something you can hang on your wall there. So hang on to that, and John will snap a picture here. Right there, that works. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. Yeah. Again, Raina continues to surprise us with the quality and the expertise, the skills and the academics, the athletics. It's just unbelievable what that school and what they've done and what John did and all those years he worked there too. So, okay, next I'd like to bring up Diane Nelson. She's going to introduce our program. So Diane Nelson.
Thank you, Richard. I would like to introduce Guy Faust today. He joined the Rotary Club of Newport in 1996 and has been a member for 25 years. He's worked at the local, state, and national levels. He's also worked in the public, private, and nonprofit sectors. The last 17 years of his career he served as OCCC's Small Business Development Director. Every job he has ever had, no one has ever held before him. He earned an associate's degree from a community college and a bachelor and master's degree from the University of Oregon. He was born and raised in suburbia, Hippie Town, USA, Eugene, Oregon. He spent 3 years in La Grande, Oregon, and 4 years in our nation's capital in Washington, D.C. Now he resides in beautiful rural Logsdon, Oregon. He has been drinking kava with village chiefs in Fiji. He went scuba diving in the Bahamas with a beautiful Southern Belle. And at 6 a.m. he climbed the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu to see the sunrise. Please help me welcome Guy Faust.
I was curious how you were going to take that last part. So Diane called me a couple months ago and she says, would you be a seasoned Rotarian presenter? Seasoned. And I'm thinking, I'm not a pot roast. At least she didn't say vintage, but we know what she meant. She meant old. And I really don't like to be referred to as old. So from now on, I want to be referred to as chronologically gifted. But we all know that with age comes wisdom. And I've got so much wisdom built up in me, it's just bursting to come out. But I've only got 20 minutes. And so I'm going to offer you 2 pearls of wisdom. And here's the first pearl. I hear, I forget. I see, I remember, I do, I learn. Now, I heard this from a 6th grade teacher years ago. I don't know if he just came back from his Zen master or what, but for some reason it stuck with me. And you think about it, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time standing up here talking for 20 minutes because 90% of it you're going to forget by next Friday or next Thursday. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do some things. And so the first thing we're going to do is I want you to get out your piece of paper and I want you to write this down. If you don't have a pen, raise your hand because Diane's got some. Okay, here's what I want you to write down. I hear, I forget. I see, I remember, I do, I learn. Just because of the hand-eye connection to your brain, just writing something down, you're more likely to remember it. Think about it just for a second. When you first learned how to swim, did you read a book? No. Did you see a video? No. You jumped in the water or somebody pushed you in the water. That's how you learned how to swim. Same thing with driving. Does anyone here know how to make a flaming Irish coffee drink? Well, I do, and I can tell you that if you don't practice, you will get burned. So, did everyone get that written down? Okay, so for the youth in the audience, here's my message to you. The more you do in life, the more you're actually going to learn. So, before my second pearl, I was asked to comment on Newport Rotary. Here's my thinking. I've been in the club for 25 some years. I've visited a number of other clubs, and we're pretty amazing. We really are. I can't believe that all the things that we do for the size of our club. And, you know, we do things like exchange students coming and going. We've got scholarships, we got polio, plus we got RILA, we stuff backpacks, and you guys know the routine. But here's what I've observed over the years is that we have some really, really smart people in this club and the people that have been around for a long time. In fact, I would say that if this was an army, we have a lot of generals, majors, officers, lots of leaders in this club. Me, I've been more of a foot soldier. I've been just sort of a buck private. I basically show up to the luncheons. When they have work parties, I've gone to the work parties most of the time. Occasionally, I try and get up in front of the group, do a little entertainment. And over the years, I've donated some money. Funny thing is that when I first started, I wanted to get my Paul Harris, but the only way I knew how to donate was to get fined. We didn't have the happy bucks back in those days. I really didn't want to get fined, but that's the only way I knew how to do it. So I had to say things like, what's the difference between a puppy and an Oregon State football fan? Well, after a couple of weeks, the puppy will quit whining. Now, again, I didn't want to have to say things like that, but it was the only way I knew that I could get Bob to find. Now we have happy bucks, so I could say happy things. Like, you know, in the last 9 years, Oregon State football team has had one winning season, and if they play their cards right, they're going to have another one this year. With the momentum never end, I'm happy for the Beavers this year. Those are the happy bucks. Okay, so like I said before, we have a lot of smart people in this club, a lot of smart people. And we have Bob. No, you guys took it wrong. You took it wrong. I'm going to say, we have Bob. Yay! It starts in arms, and most of them are pretty lame, I think. Bob has a way of getting money out of our pockets, and we're smiling as he does it. And the money that he helps us raise makes it possible for us to do a lot of the things that we do. And so I think we all need to give Bob a hand. Come on. Okay, so I have been asked to evaluate the Rotary Club, but when you do that, not only you talk about the things that we do that are good, but maybe some ways that we might be able to improve. You know, which brings me to my second observation. And here's my second observation. The things that make our club, and basically all Rotary clubs, so good is the same thing that I think holds us back. And here's what I mean by that. They're all in suspense. You know, Rotary is really good at continuity. We're good at well-organized, step-by-step procedures. We don't have to reinvent the wheel every year. The folks, the leaders go off to training. But I have to admit that we are also very regimented. I mean, we start with the pledge, we introduce the guests, we introduce visiting Rotarians. You know the routine. Us Rotarians, we're all pretty left-brained. We're good followers. We're good at passing on knowledge. Well, here's my second pearl of wisdom. This is my favorite quote. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Write that down. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Does anyone know who said that? A guy that was pretty knowledgeable. His name was Albert Einstein. Okay, so I'm going to give you two really silly examples to demonstrate what I said. There's this place, it's a retail shop, it's called Anything Goes, and it was more like, they would buy secondhand stuff. It's more like a hoarder house. You would go down the aisles and they just piled up things, and you turn the corner and there'd be new things. You'd go back the next week, same thing. It was a shopping experience because you never knew what you were going to find and see. Well, this guy at one time, he bought some flawed fly spotters or swatters, okay? And now knowledge, if you're reading a business book, you say, well, you bought something that's flawed, you discount it. And maybe you, for merchandising, you put it by the cash register, eye level. Well, this guy, imagination told him, hey, I've got something unique. I'm going to double the price on it. I'm going to put it way in the back, and I'm going to put a giant sign up that says, give a fly a sporting chance. He sold out that same day. I'll give you another personal example. Back in the 70s, the oil embargo was on, and we were trying to save gasoline. So all the highways like I-5, the speed limit went from 65 down to 55. And generally you could get away with going 10 miles over the speed limit. You're not going to get a ticket. Well, I'm driving up to through Albany. I'm going 66 miles an hour. Cop pulls me over, gives me a ticket. And so at that time, it was for every mile you're over the speed limit, it costs you $10. So I'm into this thing for more than $100. And so knowledge tells you when you write the judge, you'd say something like, oh, I'm sorry, I did it. The reason I was speeding was blah, blah, blah. I'm a poor college student and I'll never do it again. Then you think, well, probably the judge gets letters like that all the time. And maybe the judge gets nasty letters all the time. So I decided, I think I'll write this judge a poem. And the poem went like this. I once knew a man who drove 95, never got a ticket as long as he was alive. And one time I drive 66 and it takes over $100 to fix. He sends my check back and fines me $10. So those are two silly examples, but I could give you some silly examples. I could give you some serious examples. We don't have time, but back in the 70s, we passed a bond measure. I'm sorry, in the 90s, we passed a bond measure for Lincoln County Schools to be built. And that same kind of strategy worked for the community college on our third try. What I'm saying is creativity does work. Okay, so now I'm saying our club could probably be a little more creative. So I'm going to give you some ideas. You may like it, you might not. I don't really care. That's not the point. The point is I think we need to get a little creative. So the thing that we just did for Bob, the ovations, what if for every first time Rotarian, visiting Rotarian, we did the same thing for that person? Just total surprise. I think it would be fun. I can guarantee when they go back to their club, they would be saying, you never believe what happened at the Rotary Club in Newport for me. Here's another idea, raffle tickets. We do these raffle tickets and you sell, say 60 raffle tickets. A lot of the time, the people that win feel guilty about taking the money, so they just give it back to whatever worthy causes. What if instead of doing that, we take all 60 tickets and buy scratch off lottery tickets and have that person the next month scratch them off, and we would split the money, that the club would get half and that person get half. They want to give it back, they could. Anyway, just an idea. Here's a cool idea, is that twice a year we have a comedy club here. And here's how it works. Everyone puts in $5. Your name gets drawn out of a hat. You have to come with a joke. And there'll be one table that have the judges, and the judges determine who wins the comedy club. He gives somebody a prize, and then the rest goes to the club. We could do the same thing with karaoke twice a year. And if your name gets drawn out, well, here's what you get evaluated on, is your voice, your dance moves, and your expression. And if you decline going up and doing the karaoke, then you get fined another $10 for sitting it out. Here's a real stupid idea, but I think it might be fun. It's that when I was down in Mexico, sitting around a swim pool, they would have these different things every hour. One of them was to take cloth napkins that you would turn them into candles or into roses, or you get these towels and you turn them into swans or something like that. Maybe have somebody come and teach us how to do that. Again, doing things is what I'm talking about. Now, here's one of the best kept secrets of nonprofits, is that having fun is how you keep and get members. I was the executive director of the Oregon Community Education Association. Our first meeting was Founders Day. We had 40 people there. 3 years later, we had 512 members. We're the largest state community education association in the nation. I also worked for the National Community Education Association back in Washington, D.C. We had 1,500 members. And then 2 years later, we were up to 2,500 members. And what was amazing about our group is that we could have over 1,000 people, which is our big fundraiser, come to our national convention. And that's pretty much unheard of, having a club with 2,500 members and getting over 1,000 of them to come to your convention. So now, here's where we're going to start doing something. I want you to flip your paper over. And I want you to draw a line down the middle of it this way. And I want you, I ask everyone to come with a fundraising idea to write up at the top. If you have your idea, write it up on the top on the left. If you don't have an idea, I'm going to give you a few to think about. Well, first of all, you could just do what we do. You could write up the dolphin drop or the wine booth, or you could write the Christmas wreaths that the Lincoln County or Lincoln City Club does. But here's some other ideas. You could have something as simple as a bake sale, or make it a garage sale. We all get our stuff out of our garage. We go down to City Hall and set up a booth right there by the farmer's market. Folks sell some stuff. That's pretty simple. Here's one that's a little more complex. Why don't our club build a houseboat? Build a houseboat and try it and sell that, make $100,000 off of it. Might take a couple years, but it's an idea. Here's an idea. We have a park that we put together, put a lot of time and energy and money into it. It sits right behind the library, gets used very little. What if in the summer we had tried to attract all the people from the hotel rooms within walking distance to come over, maybe on a Wednesday night, and we would have storytelling and s'mores party. What you would do is you would charge a small fee to get in, and then they would buy s'mores packets or drinks. Or you could have bluegrass and blueberry cobbler, or you could have Broadway and burgers. And the idea is to use that park, attract people over there in the summer, make it a family fun kind of thing. Here's one that I think somebody in our audience might like is, what if we were to host a cross-country race tournament and do that the week after the state race? You've got all these guys and gals that are in tip-top shape. They have nowhere to go to run because the cross-country season's over. Do it at Barton's Trail where we got 3 miles. Maybe throw in a swim party or a dance or bowling or something to keep them in town that night, fill up some hotel rooms. Oh, did I mention that I have a degree, my bachelor's degree in Park and Recreation Management, and I was the first Parks and Leisure Service Director for the city of LeGrand. And so I do know a little bit about, putting on things like this. Okay, so has everyone got their paper done? I want you to, on the left-hand side, write numbers 1 through 7 down the side. On the left-hand side. And what we're going to do is we're going to rate these ideas that you've written on the top. And you're going to be rating them. And the first thing I want you to do is right next to the number 1 is high gross margins. High gross margins. What I mean by that, let's just say the Lincoln City Rotary Club buys wreaths for $5, sells them for $30. They got $25,000 or $25 profit. So in my mind, that's a decent profit. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 7 or 8. But if they buy these same wreaths for $25 and sell them for $30, they're not making much. So I'd give that kind of a low score. You get the idea. Now, that's a product-oriented one. Here's a service-oriented one. Let's say we're going to put on a dance and you're going to have a DJ do the dance for you. That's not going to cost as much as if you had Johnny Limbo and the Love Nuts show up and do it. If they're still alive, I don't know. We did a conference in Portland, a national conference, and we had them for the opening night. It cost us $5,000, but it was well worth it. We had a good time. Under number 2, high earnings potential. High earnings potential. So there's a difference between hosting a wine booth at the Seafood and Wine Festival and actually creating the entire event like the chamber does. Okay, we're going to make a little bit of money off the booth. They're going to make a lot of money off the event. Now, if you were to have a bake sale, you'd make a little money. If you were to build a houseboat, you'd make maybe a lot of money depending on how much you could sell it for. Gives you an idea. Okay, the third thing, I'm rushing through these things. Define market and total universe. Defined market, total universe. Now let's just say we had a fundraiser where we serve barbecue chicken at JC Market during the parade, the Loyalty Days parade. Your market's pretty narrow. It's only people that are there that particular day and can smell the chicken burning. But what if we were to have a fundraiser where we were to develop and sell a Rotary Club digital board game. And this board game was designed for high schoolers at all the Rotary clubs, where they would go through this board game and learn things like, okay, maybe the goal is to raise $100,000 to have a solar well in some third world country, and all the trials and tribulations you would go through to get that. Well, now your market is every Rotary club in English-speaking countries around the world. Very large market. Okay, number 4, minimal startup costs. Minimal startup costs. I'll use the dolphin drop as an example. When the first year we had it, you had to buy a bunch of dolphins. That's startup costs. Next year you don't have to, because you got the dolphins. If you were to get a free helicopter, price goes down. If you pay for a helicopter, that's going to cost you a little more. Or do away with the helicopters and get some of these t-shirt cannons and have a bunch of kids just shoot them up in the air. I mean, there's different ways to do different things. I was once involved in a company called Tea Kennel Systems, and it's with my best buddy from high school, and he knew a few things about dogs. He'd been walking the DMZ with a guard dog, and he came back and he had an idea for building better kennels, more sanitary. Just an idea. Well, I got with him 5 years later. We had a patent where we could sell these kennels all across the US and Canada. And the 5th year, we grossed $1 million in sales. So there are some steps that you need to take from the idea stage to the reality stage. And by the way, the form that we're doing right now, this is step 2 in the 5-step process of getting you from just an idea to reality. All we're doing right now is just rating some things. We're going to continue. I'm almost done. Number 5, repeat business and add-ons. Repeat business and add-ons. And so let's just say we're at our wine booth and people come and they like the wine. Well, maybe some of them come back to our booth. But do we have anything else that we can sell them? Do we have some bling? Do we have some flashing lights and this and that they could do? So there are certain businesses that are designed to have add-ons, others not so much. If we had an invitational cross-country race here, and we had a bunch of high school kids come and they enjoyed it, they had a fun time, I have a feeling they'd go back and tell the guys the following year, hey, we got to go back for that same thing. I think you could get a lot of repeat businesses. And you look at what the Newport Chamber does with the marathon, you've got expertise around here. Do something like that. Okay, we're getting right down to the next one. Number 6, expertise, volunteer time commitment. Expertise and volunteer time commitment. Now, if we're going to have a bake sale or a garage sale, it doesn't take a whole lot of expertise. Many of us have done something like that before. But if you're going to try and have a digital Rotary board game, you need to have someone in your club that knows something about putting together digital board games, right? The other thing you need is commitment. We need commitment from our members and so let's just say if we were to build a houseboat, that's going to take a lot of commitment from a lot of people and a lot of hours. If you're going to have a bake sale, not so much. Okay, and then the final one, number 7, competition. Competition. So let's just say we're going to have a three-man basketball contest. I know that Lincoln City tried to do that. They may still be doing it. I know Salem has one every summer. Attracts a lot of people. So I don't know how much competition there is out there. But here's an idea, I guarantee no competition, is that if we were to create a obstacle course, take over all the gyms, do this during the winter, invite middle school kids to come from all across the 4-person teams, mom and dad drive and get 6 people in a car, do it during the winter so you can fill up some hotel rooms to boot, and do an obstacle course where they go through. We did this when I was in junior high. It was a lot of fun. And by the way, our team won. Anyway, the point is no one else is doing something like that. So now those are the 7 steps, but here's the 3 other pluses you could give as a plus. Is this fundraiser going to, 1, help the local economy? If so, give it a plus. Is this fundraiser going to attract free publicity? If so, give it a plus. And finally, is this fundraiser, does it have potential to add new members to our club? And if any of those things happen, then give it a plus. So here's what you do: is you take your score and then you add it up. And here's what I say: that if your idea has 60 points or more, either you have a great fundraising idea or you're an eternal optimist. If you have less than 40, forget it. It's probably not a good idea. But the point of this scoring system is you take the low numbers and you put on your thinking cap, and that's where you put your attention. If you can get those low numbers up, then all of a sudden maybe your fundraising idea becomes a lot better. Again, this is step 2 of the process. Step 1 has some things to improve ideas, which we haven't gone through. So, like I said, I've been involved in other associations. Our fundraising capabilities are only as good as our membership. The more members you have, the more capabilities you have to raise funds. The more commitments that you get from your members for their time, the more capabilities you have to raise funds. And finally, and I think most importantly, the more detailed we plan our fundraising, including actions, timelines, assignments, budgets, and outcomes, like a specific number. We want to raise $5,000. We're going to be more successful. So if you think this presentation was useful, let me know. If you'd like me to do something similar on membership, talk to me later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Guy. That was actually wonderful. I think it was a lot of good points. I had no idea some of the experiences that you've had and how much of a value asset we have right here in our community and our club. So thanks for being here. Thanks for sticking with us. In your name, again, we're going to donate to Polio Plus against and vaccinate children in your name. So small token. Next up, Secretary report. Welcome, Jim, up to the lectern.
President Richard, in the interest of time, I'm going to be brief. We have about 40 people in the room, well over 50%. Good job, yay-hoo. 50-50. Final 3 numbers, it's somewhere here in the room because Zoom numbers have already been checked. 706, we raised $70, $35 goes to Tanya Saxton. And member incentive is Howard Adams, so that's going to recycle. It'll be $10 next week. And John, do you have media incentive?
We are boycotting Facebook this week.
Boycotting Facebook this week, so no media incentive, $35 to Tanya, and
I'll donate back to Paul Harris.
To Tanya's Paul Harris. Outstanding, thank you, and back to you, Richard.
Any other last minute announcements? Anything else? Reminder, Sunday walk, meet at the right at Wolf Tree at 11 o'clock. Is that the best place to meet, or where?
It's right by
40th Street. So, and there's a gate there, but you park there and then we'll carpool to where we start our hike.
Perfect,
So
perfect.
just that, so here's Wolf Street and here's the end of 40th Street. Just park right there.
Sounds like a good time. I'm planning on being there.
Yeah, you'll see me, I'll have my reindeer on. No, I'm kidding. It's not gonna rain, right?
Not gonna rain. If you can't make it, just think about Rotary during the day, think about the polio, think about the fight and the effort going there. Any other announcements? How about Raymond, Major Raymond or Sylvia want to take us out on the 5-way test?
Sure. 5-way test is the thing to think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, friendships. Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun?